Hello everyone, my name is Rahul and welcome back to the YouTube channel. In this video, let's look at how to deploy changes to SQL Server and deploy these through different environments regardless of which state they are in. We will use dbup, which is a .NET library that helps us to deploy the changes to SQL Server. dbup tracks which SQL scripts have been already run and runs the database scripts that are required to get your database up to date. Let's look at how to set up a dbup project in .NET Core using a console application, push this into an Azure DevOps repository, and set up a build deploy pipeline so that we can reliably push these database changes across your environment. We will be pushing this from a development environment into a test environment, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. Without much talking, let's get into it. If you're new to dbup, make sure to check it out. I have been successfully using this in various projects throughout my career. It's free, open source, well maintained, and has a good documentation. Check out the link in the description below. Getting started is really simple, and the first section in the homepage of the documentation helps you to do that. All you need to do is create a C# console project, add the dbup library, and then set up the program.cs file as shown here. This helps you to get started with the minimal amount of configuration, and you can add on to it as required and once you learn more about this library. I have already set up the code that's required for this. Here, I have a dbup.example, a console project in .NET Core 3.1. I have a program.cs file. I have added an app settings.json file which has the connection string that we require, and I'm using a local SQL server that's running on my machine. So this is going to be used anytime it's going to run on my machine locally. In program.cs, I have updated the main function to use the code as shown in the documentation. I have updated it to use the app settings.json and read it the config from there so that we can change this in our environments. When running locally, I ensure that a database is getting created and I don't have to manually create that. dbup works on SQL scripts that we specify along with the source code. We can define the different way that the scripts will be available. In this scenario, we have mentioned the scripts are embedded in the assembly. So it's getting the executing assembly and looking for scripts that's embedded as part of it. We can specify the transaction that's used when running the script. In this case, each script is run under its own transaction, and also a different configurations that you can do. So by default, this is now logging to the console so we can see the changes that's happening there. Please explore the documentation to learn more and the different possibilities that this library allows you to do. Since this is embedded in the assembly, I have a folder in here which says scripts, and then this has the different files under that. Under the scripts folder, I have two scripts for now, which creates a job table and a job item table. So the job table creates a job with a customer name, phone, delivery date, instructions, and location name. It also creates a job item table which has a reference to the job table. The actual schema of this does not matter for this demo, so let's get along. Since this is embedded in the assembly, right-click in the properties, make sure this is marked as embedded resource. So when building, these files gets embedded into the assembly as an embedded resource, which will be used by the dbup library. There are other ways of specifying these files, but for now I have just chosen to go like this. Also notice the naming conventions. I'm using the year, month, day, and time in 24-hour clock format prefixed to every file names. This allows to order the files in the same way that we want it to be executed. dbup reads the files in the series of order and then executes in the same order. If you check the documentation, they use numbering like script 001, 002, and so on. This also allows us to order it in the same way. However, the year, month, and day format allows to have less conflicts when different people are working on the same project. It's very unlikely for two people to add the script at the exact same time and on the same day. However, when merging changes into your master branch, you need to make sure it aligns to your database requirements. So we have these two files getting created in the same order. So it first creates the create job table and the job item table. So let's run this and make sure this works as expected. Click debug and step into a new instance. As you can see, it first checks whether the journal table exists. Let's see what that means. Since it doesn't exist, it creates a new one because this is a fresh database, and it runs the first script. After that, it runs these two scripts in the same order that we want. The upgrade is successful. Let's go to my local database using SQL Server Management Studio and check the database that was just created. Under tables, I can see the two files that we mentioned in the scripts, the job and the job item. This is going to have the schema exactly as defined inside those scripts. What you also notice is there is an extra file, schema versions. This maintains what scripts have been already run. So if you execute this, you can see the two files in here. So this is executed exactly in the same order as we have specified, which is why we use the naming convention prefix. The next time dbup is going to run, it's going to check this table, which it also refers to as journal table, and sees which all scripts have been already run. And it runs only the scripts that has not been executed in this database. Let's close this and rerun the application again. This time around, it says there are no new scripts that needs to be executed. Let's add a new script and see how that works. So let's choose add and create a new file. So let's use the new item, search for file and use the text file. To follow the naming convention, let's add in 2020 06. Since this is 9th, we'll use 09 and it's 4 in the morning, so let's use 0448. Let's name it so that we understand what this is doing. So in here, I'm going to change the quantity for the job item field. Alter job item quantity SQL, and let's add this. So this has come in order right below the previous file because of this naming convention. Let's right click in the properties, make sure this is marked as an embedded resource, so it gets embedded into the assembly. I have the script already written, so let me paste that in here. All this is doing is changing the column in job item, which is quantity, and making it into a decimal field. Previously, it was an integer field that we created in here. So if you see the original script that created the job item table, it's an int field. So when this script runs, it will drop that column and make that as a decimal. So let's run this and then go to the database and verify if that's working as expected. If you want to check this database schema before running, we can go into job item and look at columns, and you can see the quantity is an int. So let's run this. It picks up the new file that we just added and execute it against the database. So let's go back to the database, run the schema versions, and you can see the new file is now added in here. So the next time dbup runs, it will only execute files after this file. So let's go to the database schema, refresh this, look at columns, and you can see the quantity is now a decimal. So now you can see what the advantage of dbup is. You have full control of your database using the SQL scripts, and you just incrementally deploy them as required into your database. If I was to delete this database so that it doesn't exist, so let's say you have a new team member who has joined your team after all these changes has happened. So let's go and delete it. Let's go back to the dbup. So the dbup would be in this state now when a new member joins or you run this again. So let's run the console application. And this time it's going to run all the three scripts at the first go itself. So let's close this, go to the database again, refresh it, and you can see the new database that's coming here. And you can see all the tables that's created in here. The schema.version would also have all the files because it ran all of them at once. If you look at the job item and the columns, it's going to be a quantity decimal. So it first goes to be an int, but immediately the next script overrides it to become a decimal. So you can see these SQL scripts are layered on top of each other, runs it sequentially, and keeps your database in the state that you want. Now let's look at how to set up a build deploy pipeline so that you can run these scripts reliably on any environment that you choose to. So you might first want to deploy this into a development environment, then into a test, and then finally maybe into a production environment. So you have a reliable pipeline to deploy these changes into your different environments. Let's look at exactly how to do that. I have already committed this repository except for this last file that we just added. So let's keep it like that so that we can use this to see how to reliably propagate your changes through the environments. So we'll first set up the deploy pipeline for the source code that's already pushed into the repository. So let's go to the Azure DevOps. I have a new repository added, dbup, under my YouTube samples, which is public and will be linked in the description below. You can see the source code for the other videos that I have done in here as well. For this, I'll be using the dbup repository. So we have the console application in here, which has the dbup example and the first two scripts that we added. So let's first set the pipeline for this. If you're new to Azure DevOps, check out the video linked here or in the description below on how to get started. It's totally free up to a certain limit, and you can check out the more details in the video. To create a new build pipeline, let's go to Pipelines. Under Pipelines, create a new pipeline. Since our repository is in Azure Repos, let's choose Azure Repos Git and choose the appropriate repository. In this case, it's dbup. It gives you different options to choose from a template. Let's choose the starter pipeline in this case. It comes with a few scripts which we don't require, so let's remove them. So we have a console application which we need to build and push up as an artifact so that the release pipeline can use this. To run the build, let's use the .NET CLI task. So under the show assistant here, let's choose for .NET Core and create the build command. Since I have only one project in this case, let's use star.cs project. You can also specify this to the exact project name that you want. I want to output the files into a specific folder so that I can use this to package and publish it as an artifact for the build. To specify the output folder, let's use the --output and then specify the $build.binaries directory. This is a default variable that's available as part of the Azure DevOps pipeline. So we specify $build and binaries directory. The $bracket is the way used to specify to use a variable. To put this into a folder, let's also specify publish_output. So all the files will be inside that folder, which is the output of this build. Since we want it to be built in the release format, let's use configuration and give release. This could come in as a pipeline variable that you can add under here. For now, let's just hardcode it there. Make sure that the cursor is in the right position and click add. This is going to add the step that we just created into here. So you can see it builds the csproj file, specifies the output, and also the configuration that we added. Since this is the only project under this solution, I'm not archiving, I'm directly publishing this as an artifact. Alternatively, you can also choose to archive it with a specific name, dbup, so that you can use this accordingly in your release pipeline, which we will see in a moment later. So let's first publish this as an artifact. To do that, let's search for the publish and choose the publish build artifacts. We need to specify the path to publish. In our case, this is going to be the $binaries directory and the publish output. So let's copy that and use that as the path to publish. The publish artifact will have the name drop, so let's leave that as default and will be published into the Azure pipelines itself. Let's make sure that the cursor is in the right position and click add. We're done with the build pipeline, so let's save this and run this. When you save, it gives you an option either to commit directly to the master branch or create a new branch. You could create a new branch and raise a pull request as I showed you in the getting started video with Azure DevOps. For now, let's commit directly to the master branch. So let's save and run. The build is now triggered. So if you go into the jobs, you can see the details of what's happening. The two steps that we added, which is the .NET Core CLI, the build task, and the publish artifacts appears here. So once this is run, we will have an artifact published as part of this job. So if we go back to the build summary, we can see there is a published artifact. So let's click that. It shows a drop artifact in there. It has all the files in there since we did not archive this explicitly. So this has the dbup and the app settings.json. We will be using release variables to replace the values in here. Now that we have the build pipeline set up, let's go and set up the release pipeline. Under releases, you can add a new release. So let's click new and create a new release pipeline. I'll choose an empty job for this because all we are going to do is execute a few scripts from the release pipeline. Let's name this stage as dev because we'll be deploying this into the dev environment initially. Let's close this. Make sure to name the pipeline dbup and add an artifact. We'll choose the build pipeline that we just created, which is dbup, and choose the artifact from there. This is going to have a source alias _dbup which you will see in a while. So let's click add, and that has set up the artifact for this build. Using this icon here, you can also set up the continuous trigger. So anytime a new build is created, this will automatically be run. So let's enable that and close this. So anytime a new build is run, it will be automatically deployed into the development environment. Let's go into the dev tasks and start adding the tasks that we require. To add a new task, let's click the plus icon. So first, we need to replace the connection string that this is going to run against and then run the dbup scripts. So let's look at how to do that. To replace the connection strings, add the file transform task. So select that and click add. So let's select the package or folder where we want to transform these files. Let's click on the folder selector, which has the underscore dbup, which was the source alias that we saw when we added the build artifact. So we need to replace the app settings.json file under the drop folder. So let's select that folder and select OK. So that's going to give that as the path. The file format is a JSON file and the targeted file is app settings.json file. This is going to replace the variables inside here from our variables. So let's go and add the variable now. Under variables, we can click add and give the exact name that we have in our app settings.json file. Since this is under connection strings and db connection string, we need to give connection strings dot and then give the next name, which is going to be db connection string, and specify the value in here. I have already created an Azure SQL database and have a connection string for it. So I'll paste that in here. Let's choose the dev environment for this case. For now, I will leave this as unsecured, but it's always recommended to make this as a secret. I'll show you what difference it makes. Go back to the tasks. We have everything set up for the file transform. Let's add a new task and select command line. We will use this to execute the dbup scripts. So using the command line, let's remove all these. We have the correct connection string in the configuration. So all we need to do now is run the application. Let's use the .NET command and specify the dbup.example.dll file, which is going to be run in this case. Let's choose advanced and make sure the working directory is in the appropriate place. So let's choose dbup and specify the drop folder. So this has the dbup.example.dll file. Let's click OK, and that's going to set up the working directory appropriately. So this is going to execute the dbup example.dll, which is the console application in this case, and run this using the .NET command. Note that we didn't get an executable file. If you want an executable file, you will need to run the publish script inside your build pipeline. But this also works. Now that we have all this set up, let's make sure to save this and create a new release. So clicking release is going to start the deployment of this, and click create. The release 1 has been created, so let's navigate to that. The deployment is queued into the dev environment. So let's click there. So it's first downloading the artifact from the build pipeline, doing the file transform, and then running the command line script. The deploy is successful. So let's look at the file transform. Since we marked it as not secure, anytime this is going to run, it's going to output the connection string in here. This is not something that you definitely don't want because you can clearly see the password in clear text in here. When we set up the next environment, we will show how to make this secure so that it doesn't come up here. So let's go back and go to Azure portal to the database that we just deployed to. Let's go into the query editor preview and give the password to connect to the database. We can explore the tables in here. So if we expand this, we can see the job item, and the schema versions table that we saw on our local machine. Let's run the select query and we can see both the files that's getting executed in here. Also, the job item is currently an integer field. Let's now push the other file up so that we can see how this is getting automatically generated. So let's go into the Team Explorer, this new file. So let's specify alter job item quantity, commit this, and push this from Visual Studio itself. You can use Ctrl Q to bring up the global search and run git push to push this up into the repository. This is an easy way to push up from Visual Studio. Let's go back into Azure DevOps. Under the build pipelines, it has already triggered off a new deployment the dbup build pipeline, and it has created a new artifact. Since we enabled the automatic deployment in the releases, it's also going to trigger a new release, and we have the release 2 created. So if we go into the release 2, look at the details and check the command line script, you can see the exact console that you saw while running on the local machine. So this says that it has executed the new script. So let's go into the Azure portal, let's run this query, and you can see the 3 files being already executed in here. If we expand the tables and look at the job item field now, this is going to be a decimal. So our script has successfully got executed. Let's now go and create a test database so that we can push all these changes into a test environment. Let's go to the SQL Server and create a new database. You could create a new database server altogether. For this example, I'm just going to use the same server but add a different database inside the same. So let's create a new database using the create database. It's part of the same server, so all I need to give is the database name. So let's name YouTube-test. Once that's set up, let's review and create. That all looks good, so let's click create. The database is successfully created, so let's go to the resource and make sure to get the connection string from here. Clicking this gives you the connection string for your .NET application. You can copy this and replace the appropriate username and password. Usually I create different accounts for different applications. Let's go into Azure DevOps. For dbup, let's edit this pipeline to create the next stage. So let's clone that, call this test, make this as a manual trigger so that we can choose when to deploy this. All the scripts still remains the same. So let's go to variables and add in the value for the new environment. Most of this is going to remain the same except the default catalog, which is going to be YouTube test in this case. Let's mark this as a secret. Let's click save and create a new release. So now on, we'll have 2 stages, so we can manually propagate this onto the other stages once we are comfortable. So if we click into that, you can see the dev is already running by default. By default, when you create a SQL database, it has some network restrictions. If you go into overview, under the server name, you can see a firewall and virtual networks. You need to allow Azure services and resources to access this server and make sure this is checked. If not, the Azure DevOps cannot run these scripts onto the SQL Server. Alternatively, you can also add your IP address for the DevOps range in here. Note I have added my local machine range in here so that I'm able to access this from SQL Server Management Studio as well. So make sure to check this on so that this all works as expected. Let's go back to the Azure DevOps pipeline. The dev environment is successful. So let's go to the release and deploy this into the test environment. So let's click deploy. Under the file transforms, we now see that the value is masked here so that it's no longer available as part of the build logs. This is why you need to make sure you click that secret icon when creating variables for sensitive information. Alternatively, you could also push these variables into an Azure Key Vault and secure it there. If you want to learn how to use Azure Key Vault, check out the video here or in the description below. The step has been successfully run. So let's go to the Azure portal again, go to the database, so I can choose SQL databases, go into the test database. Under the query editor, let's connect to the database with the password and check the tables in here. We have all the tables created here, and if we check the job item, it's going to be a decimal, because we deployed all 3 scripts together into the test environment. Hope this helps you to set up a build deploy pipeline for your SQL Server database and the changes associated with this. dbup is a great library that helps us to do this. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the like button. If you want to be notified in the future of similar videos, please hit subscribe. Thank you and see you soon.